Hey, what's up, what's up, what's up? Welcome to Mahogany Sweets. I want to come talk to you guys about the Real Housewives of Potomac Reunion 1 and 2. And I'm going to start off with this Monique and, what's that girl named, Candace situation, because that is just a lot to unpack. So, I am not about to give this review in chronological order. I'm just going to speak about everything that we'll speak about in the order that it comes to my mind. Okay, so starting with Monique and Candace. This shitstorm that we see going on with them too. Okay? They started out friends, cool. It was mutual respect, admiration there. Then they went off into beefing with each other due to having conflict with other people, right? Because we seen the last season when Candace and Monique had gotten into it. One of the things that Monique had a problem with was like, well, you want me to just ride for you, choose side, be on your side, be a yes man, agree with everything that you gotta say and how you feel. Because even though Ashley is the one who brought Candace in, or was it vice versa? They brought each other in because they knew each other from the pageant world. And I believe it was Ashley who brought Candace in. But then them two started beefing. And Monique and Candace had made friends. And Candace wanted Monique to take her side since Ashley had done things to her, and Monique was like, I'm willing to make up or whatever. So then we seen that is why Candace made friends with Charisse, who Monique was beefing with. Like, oh, okay, well, if I'm done with this girl, don't like her, me and you supposed to be friends, but you gonna still be cool with her? Ain't gonna ride with me on my attacks against Ashley? Well, I'm gonna bring in someone who you're now beefing with and be friends with them. And that is what Candace's gameplay was, which Monique did not like, because it wasn't a situation of like, okay, I'm getting to know you girls, me and you gonna hit it off, but I'm cool with her and now y'all done fell out and I'm choosing to still be her friend. It was a situation of you, for tit for tat and out of immaturity and vindictiveness, you chose to seek out Charisse to create a friendship, because Charisse was already off the show when, no, I just thought about it. When Candace came in while Charisse was still on the show. Because wasn't they on that like car bus ride and they had gotten into it, checked each other out, confusing that with Alexa. Anyway, Candace still made it a point to try and go and seek out Charisse, especially knowing that Charisse had rumors or dirt that she wanted to pit on her. You get what I'm saying? So that is where their divide began. We get into this reunion situation. Candace is still with the waterworks, being a crybaby. And this is how I feel about what Candace is doing in the steps that she's been taking. Candace initially started with the lawsuit. I'm going to file a lawsuit, try and get you a charge, arrested for assault and stuff like that. It did not work. That feud and pissed Candace off. Then Candace went into, I'm going to get all the girls against you. They're all going to rather be on my side. That still didn't work, which pissed Candace off, because Candace was so hard on Karen because she wanted Karen to end her friendship with Monique completely and ice her out. And of course, Karen was like, I'm not for that bullshit. I ain't about to play that game with you. So that further feud and pissed Candace off, because what Candace is doing is she's looking for a form of revenge. I want you to suffer. I want you to pay for this. Okay, I couldn't get the lawsuit. Oh, shit. So you can just beat my ass on national TV and I can't get my retribution in that way. Then it's okay, I'm going to ice you out with all the girls and they're all going to rap for me. That gives me the final win. Like, okay, yeah, you beat me up on television, but I got the final win because I sued you and got money. I got all the girls, they won't rock with you. Didn't work. And then it goes into, I want to come after your paycheck. I want to get you fired. So that is Candace's last line of defense to try and attack Monique back, which is why she has been running the waterworks. Her storyline was going to be about supposedly wanting the baby and making up with Ashley and that bullcrap, right? But when this jumped off, that gave her a different route of a storyline. And she wants to use the waterworks. I'm traumatized. I've been battered. No one else will film with her. Anyway, she's pushing it from that angle to try and get Monique fired, because then it's like, okay, right, I now have the final win. This is what Candace Fulham realized. This is not the first Housewives franchise where there has been a physical altercation. They have taken place on New York, on Atlanta, and I believe it was Orange County, where someone slapped someone through a glass at them or something like that. A matter of fact, I just thought about it. Even the one Beverly Hills ones, or whatever it's called, there was a physical altercation in on that one as well. So her thinking that I can add on all these things to punish Monique, get back even with Monique or whatever, has not been prevailing. But she's thinking that the one that can is her being, I'm not going to film with this girl. I don't feel safe with her. The other ladies don't as well. I'm traumatized, so she deserves to be fired. Which is why she constantly doing all this crying and stuff like that. Now, this is what I had looked at. And what I wish on the reunion they would bring up. For this girl to claim she's traumatized, she's scared, and this waterwork thing, I'm still messed up in the head about it and all this, you wouldn't still have so much mouth. Like, you are still constantly on social media and off and on filming and everything, making digs at this woman, provoking her, and all of that type of stuff. So you clearly are not traumatized. And my whole thing is like, get over it. Most people have been in a fight before. You in college, you have been in sororities, you got siblings, you went to school, you've been in fights, you've seen fights. It's not the end of the freaking world. And she's making this thing way bigger than what it is, only because she feels it's her last line of defense to get the ultimate win against Monique by getting Monique fired. If Andy will go for that. Like, we already seen, you ain't been hit before. Your mama hit you on national television with an item, with a weapon, in the head. So I'm quite sure your mama probably is going upside your head. That's where your abuse and trauma should be at, with your dang old mama, okay? Not with Monique. Then she has siblings. I know of one sister specifically she had, but I think she might have another one. So we know that y'all done got into fights growing up. I have sisters, and we used to fight like cats and dogs all the time. I have had friends who I have gotten into altercation with, and we was able to move on from that. And they would be able to move on from this as well if it wasn't just for the fact of Candace being so vindictive, immature, and feeling embarrassed. Okay? Monique, and what I don't like that Monique did is just like, if Candace is trying to run this strategy against you, getting you kicked off the show with how traumatized she is, you should have met her back with those same level of antics and dramatization in Waterworks. I wish that I was on the show, or her friends, I would have told her, like, girl, you go on that reunion stage, and you be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Play your role. I'm so sorry that happened to her. I don't know what I was thinking, what I was doing to attack her like that. She didn't deserve that. Even if you feel differently, just run and say that so you can at least give producers and them, like, beat her at her own game. That's what Nicki Minaj did with Cardi B. Cardi B was using sympathy and payola. Nicki Minaj flipped the script when they did that interview with, what was the, I can't even think of the man with, no, it wasn't Elliot. But Nicki Minaj went into that interview and she started putting on her performance too. Oh, I don't know. I was trying to help her and embrace. Girl, so that to me is what Monique should have done. Monique to me is they both are very prideful and proud, which is why this shit is going on as long as it is. Like, both of them chicks need to grow the hell up. But more so Candace, because Monique is trying to move forward and dead it and it be done with. But Monique should have came on there like, I'm so sorry, girl. Put on your waterworks. I don't know what happened. You did not deserve that. This and that other. And then let it be done. So then those who want to harshly criticize can't say, oh, she showed no emotion. She don't care. She has no remorse. She will be possible of doing it again and stuff like that. Monique should just went on ahead, pair of pride to the side, and even looked at it as, no, I'm still playing chess too, and I'm whooped your ass. You couldn't sue me. You ain't getting me kicked off the show either. You know what I'm saying? So I wish that Monique would have showed a bit more humility during that reunion, because so far Monique is the one who's up. You've won. That's why Candace is in this fit and rage, because she hasn't, while she's trying to play this victim role, but she keep bursting out and revealing the truth about herself, which is that you're not, because even after it, you were still on social media talking crap. Even in her face now at the reunion, you're still talking crap, but then turning around and wanting to cry. So Monique should have handled that differently. But when Monique and her were discussing the actual fight, from what I seen, you see, I did not necessarily see the glass going, but I see the splash all over Monique's face. So that shows, yes, something was thrown at her. That was the other thing Monique did. Monique was like, no, the push didn't, let's say, trigger her. But what she should have just said, because I myself can relate to this, is that the whole situation triggered me. And when I have these women who I know do not like me, have something against me, they are verbally attacking me constantly. And this young lady is in my face doing this, and she's screaming and yelling, calling names. And then I feel a push, the intensity of it all. I was in fight or flight mode, and my reaction was, I have to shut this down. I have to defend myself. So I went into a physical combative state of mind. Everyone would understand that, because I've been like that. I'm one of those type of women where it was harder when I was younger. I'll say I actually kind of better now. But when I was younger, I was one of those, my sisters would be running off the mouth and stuff, and I would just be like, I have to shut this down. I wasn't one of those where it was like, yeah, I'm going to quit with what you scream absurdities to each other and stuff like that. It was like, okay, you're coming at me with this, and my reaction was to just fight you, not to have this screaming match with you, because number one, ain't nobody getting hurt. You're saying nonsense and stuff, so it triggers you and make you feel like everything is just chaotic. And that's what Monique, I believe, felt, but don't know how to verbalize. When we were sitting in that altercation at the table, everything felt chaotic to me. I felt so much under pressure that I had to push it up off me, with these ladies screaming at me, attacking me, me feeling movements in my face and on my body, and that's just is what triggered me and made me go into a combative state. That's what, to me, Monique should have said. So you see the splash, and I didn't necessarily see the glass being thrown, but I seen the splash in her face, which means that, yes, someone picked up something and threw it at her. But that could have also still been Giselle, because Giselle pushed her. Then Giselle wanted to get the fuck away. She went behind Candace, and she was physically instigating that altercation to the max. And it is possible that she, while them two having this commotion now, threw something at Giselle, because I've been and seen and even been in a situation like that, where you're having a altercation with one person, and then another little scary ass bitter motherfucker try and get their hits and licks in, but don't want to face you one-on-one. And to me, that's what Giselle was back there doing, instigating, orchestrating the whole thing. She did push her. That was not a you saying stop, because if you was trying to calm down Monique, then you wouldn't just boom like that and then went around the table. No, you boom like that so she could look at the hand that's coming from Candace, so it could be a fight, so you could get you a hit in without having to verbally, or should I say face-to-face her try to attack her. You would have went behind her and been like, hey, here, come back, girl. You would have went behind Monique and put Monique back, or been side to side with Monique, like, come on, come back. No, you were instigating. You triggered her by putting that push on her of already being verbally attacked, and now feeling like, yes, I'm being physically attacked, and all these women at this table are against me. So we also did see, because they were trying to say that she did not have broken glass trying to hit her. That part I did see. Candace did have a broken glass in her hand, and she was trying to hit. That's why someone, I think it was Robin, was holding that hand, or was a producer, holding that hand, because that's exactly what Candace was trying to do. Take that glass and hit Monique with it, the broken glass or whatever. It's just a lot, but to me, they need to get over it and move on. It is not the end of the world. We seen Portia and Cynthia, they got over that crap like that and really didn't even talk about it the next episode. We seen the situation with Danielle on the New Jersey Housewives. We seen the situation with Danielle, and I don't even remember who the young lady who she was fighting was, where she pulled hair and stuff like that, and they got over it. So I think that this is something that would have easily been able to get over, except the fact that Candace wants to draw it out, to use it as her last line of defense to get a win in by getting Monique fired. And she clearly ain't traumatized, because, and oh, that was the other thing. So we see they talking about all this violence and all this, and how it's unacceptable, problematic. But then in the episode with Chris and Michael, where something got physical, Ashley was the one jumping up, being combative, being aggressive, and in a stance with provoking behavior, with behavior that says, I'm willing to fight and get physical, and screaming and talking crap. So I agree with Ashley when she said, you talking about Monique having no self-control, but you do not, and your man don't, because he put his hands on someone. So if people can be traumatized from these situations, altercations, and they should have their checks removed. They should have be sued and stuff like that, be fired. Then you and your husband now at this point should be off the show and be fired. If we're going to play it like that, we have to play it like that across the whole board. But it was just funny to me how all those women switched up. These white men didn't belittle the race of white men by acting like this. These white men did not make y'all feel threatened or scared for their violent behavior or aggressive behavior and stuff. So that was just... So when I look at the fact that, because now I'm about to move on to Wendy when they brought up the aggressive thing. We have Wendy and Candace being upset that a code word aggressive, as an aggressive black female, they were being labeled that and being labeled aggressive. And they tried to run with the systemic oppression and stereotype of black women being aggressive and threatening. And that's why I should never said to them. Yes, that is true as far as it is a code word that whites will use against blacks, specifically black women. But in this situation, it applied. It fitted. Both of them have shown extremely aggressive behavior. Talking about Candace and Wendy. Wendy, you were so aggressive with that Ashley situation that it had nothing to do with you, and it was crazy. And Candace, you were aggressive with your knife swinging, with the situation with Chris and them, and with the situation with Monique. You're sending off aggressive, violent behavior, okay? And then you're surprised when things get violent, and then surprised when someone calls you aggressive. That label that was given to Wendy and Candace was not a unfitting title. Own it. Y'all have been aggressive, and y'all were being aggressive. And this is the thing that I look at, right? And how they can't try and use that. Monique is a dark-skinned woman as well, brown-skinned woman, whatever y'all want to call her, but she has a darker hue that blends in with Candace's and Wendy's as well. And she even has gotten physical. No one is giving her the label aggressive because her behavior, her energy overall is not one of aggressiveness. Theirs is consistently aggressive behavior. So they should look at that. That everyone in the world ain't wrong, okay? Everyone can't be wrong. Ask yourself, why are me and her getting this label of aggressive behavior, yet this woman who actually has gotten physically violent is not getting that label? And that's because she shows up and her energy shows up differently and not aggressive on an overall basis. That was her one instance of showing pretty aggressive behavior, where you and have continuously showed this. And then Wendy, your introduction to us was over aggressive behavior, where it misplaced anger and aggression. So that's what I looked at. Like, don't try and use that as a cop out. And then what I don't like is you still have Robin, Giselle, Candace, and Wendy trying to blame the other ladies for how commentary on social media is coming at them. You can't blame them for that. You cannot display and reveal certain aspects of your character or what do you call it? Of a fake character that you're trying to display on TV and then think people are not going to have opinions about it. No one has to preempt the public to feel or say or think a certain way about you, ladies. People come to their own conclusions about how they feel about your behavior, your actions, your lifestyle, all of that. And they're going to voice that. And they've been doing it way before this. You have gotten bad, negative commentary just as well as you have gotten good prior to this. And just like you still are getting bad and good after this situation. It is not those women's fault of how the viewers choose to view you and things they choose to say to you. You can't blame them for that. And then what I didn't like is Candace wanted to say, you didn't shut down a lie. You didn't shut down a lie. You just let it go on. First off, y'all beefing. That ain't her job to shut down anybody's perception or misunderstanding about what's going on. That's number one. Number two, you yourself was out lying, telling everyone that she's paying blogs and paying people to say things about you. That's not true. So you yourself lied, and you yourself allowed people to run with a lie that you, I don't know why she thinks that just because she did not go in and just punch means that she didn't provoke or initiate a physical altercation. I don't know why that is lost on her. She refuses to take accountability, responsibility for anything. And what's sad and what I noticed in the reunion, she thinks her mouth is cute. When Andy and the others were talking to her about what she speaks, she feels like, oh, she feels like it's cute. Like, yeah, my mouth is so sharp. These motherfuckers can't hang. They want to hit me for it. Like, no, sweetheart, no, that is not cute. It is the reason why people respond to you and feel the way that they do. It has nothing to do with Monique or any of the other ladies on the show. It is how you yourself is choosing to present yourself and show up in the world. And then you want to blame everyone else for how they feel they experience you or look at you through the TV screen. You have to take accountability, and she has refused to take accountability for anything thus far. And that's what I don't like, and that's very obnoxious. And I feel that her and Monique kind of struggling with pride, and in a sense, humbling themselves and taking responsibility. But if we want to gauge who has actually taken any type of accountability or responsibility for what happened, the only person who has is Monique. Candace refuses to, and that's because she is narcissistic, she is narrow-minded, and I don't even know how to describe her level of so she has no self-awareness, and she cannot be taught and isn't teachable to be able to grow and change from this, because she sees nothing wrong with her and refuses to take criticism from anyone. When anyone checks her about anything, she always has a rebuttal instead of sitting it in to say, right, maybe I should pull back. You know what? Right, maybe this was the wrong move to make, because guess what? Every action has the reaction of equal or greater force. So you cannot run off at the mouth all the time, making all these low digs, attacking people verbally. Because what you got to understand about verbal attacks, those are psychological attacks. When you verbally dig into people constantly, that is psychological attack and psychological abuse, which she doesn't understand that, nor does she understand that can trigger someone to become violent with you, such as your own mother who went upside your head. Then let's think about it. I think I'm about to leave that alone because I forgot the other point I wanted to make. But Monique and Karen dug into Giselle. So we already knew that this relationship between Giselle and Pastor Jamal Bryant was fake, fictional for TV. I think he looked at it like, this give me a chance to help her out, get her out of my damn pocket. Like I told y'all in a previous video, this also could have helped him rebrand himself as being a new man. And it all went to shit. He should not have agreed to do this show with her because it's a shitstorm. And it exposed him and her. But anyway, so Monique goes into her receipts of this other woman who has a relationship with him and claiming to have a child with him, revealing that he told her, that he told the mistress. Well, I can't even call her a mistress because he's not even really technically with Giselle and they ain't even married anymore. But anyway, saying he told her, Jamal Bryant told this young lady, this is all just faking for TV. Me and her are not really together, right? And when Jamal came and did a video about it, he confirmed that that is true. And you know how? Because he came on screen and he said, well, if she want to expose that and reveal that, why she didn't reveal these two? She should have added these two, which means everything that Monique said is the truth. And what tripped me out is when Andy asked Giselle about it, is it true or not? She said, no, I don't believe nothing in her notebook. It's all lies or whatever. But you just confirmed when they asked, is that the number? You said, yes, it's the number. And the reason why she didn't lie is because she was sitting there thinking about it for a minute. Like, crap, no, I can't lie and say it's not his number because they could easily pick up and call. And even if it go to voicemail, it's going to say Pastor Jamal Bryant. So she was like, I'm going to have to go ahead and admit that. So you come and tell us that, yes, the number is true. That's actually his number. But then you say everything else is a lie. You can't have it both ways. Either is his number and what she's saying are true factual receipts, or it's not. So to me, Giselle is full of shit. With the I ain't believing none that she say, but you just said that you believe and it's true that that's his number. And he confirms it though himself. He did a live and his whole thing was, it's true, but basically told us that he was treating the woman like crap, because he kept talking about, but she ain't never been in my house. I wouldn't help her with this. I wouldn't give her a position in this, and I told her not to come here with me. So he basically said, yes, I had a relationship with her. Yes, I told her that my relationship with Giselle was faking for TV, but I was dogging that bitch out. He's so dumb. He should have kept it. Oh, and he give me queen vibes. I'm sorry. He give me queen vibes. But, so what I liked is Monique goes into saying, like, well, I hope he here with the show with you. You got a different man that you trying to, you know, fake a storyline with every season or whatever, but ain't none of them long-term, full-term. And y'all got to remember, Monique is actually one who exposed her last boo for cheating, right? Cheating on her and getting pulled over some on the show. Well, she exposed on the show, but it was out in news articles anyway, so she didn't expose that much. The mass majority of the rest of the world, well, United States didn't know, but those people in that community knew, and the blogs were talking about it. So she probably still has a vendetta against Monique for that as well, but Monique now has to expose her second fake storyline boyfriend. And it had her hush. It had Giselle quiet, shut down. That shit was hilarious. Because then Karen goes on to say, like, will Jamal be with you tonight? Is he coming on the show? So then Giselle, no, he's not. And then she's like, of course not. It was like, right, we know he wasn't going to be here. And it was hilarious. And I'm glad that Giselle is finally getting the reading that she deserves, that she's getting put in her place, that she's being held accountable. And I hope that she's held accountable in other ways. But let's see, what else was there? Oh, and Giselle. So Giselle loves coming after these different women that are not part of her little squad. Which actually, she still throws shade at her own friends too, because Robin, she wanted her embellished hats. She wanted to say, oh, it's an embezzlement right after her. Like, she even shades her own friends. That woman is shady. She out for self. She's miserable and bitter. But anyway, so she shaded and had been shading Karen's business ventures, right? Even though Karen's business ventures have all succeeded and have continued to go on. She's continuing to grow as a businesswoman. But Giselle hates and shades them. Yet Giselle's business has went down the drain, right? She tried to blame it on COVID for why her business had to be shut down right now. But it actually was shut down before then. Because you got to remember, it was like we at the 5th season. It was like the 1st or 2nd season when Giselle started her beauty products line. And it been tanking and not doing well. And she wants to blame COVID for it, but COVID would not mess up your beauty products, because guess what? Other corporations that's in the makeup and that type of industry, they are still functioning through COVID, and they are still delivering through Amazon, through, you know what I'm saying, different. Those products are still selling. Women are still buying makeup even in quarantine. So she tried to blame it on that, but we know it faltered way before then. And she is hateful and bitter, and that's why everything she touches goes to crap. She needs to get her heart right. And what tripped me out is, like, even with her ex-husband Jamal talking about character, even though his character is not aligned. But let's just look at Giselle and hers, right? You were a first lady, yet you carry on bitter, hateful, spiteful, divisive, right? Why we got Wendy talking about divisive tactics and antics, and none of that is godly. None of that is first lady like. None of that is acceptable, even of a person who's not a first lady. Like, your behavior is sad, low down, and dirty, but yet you have the nerve to talk about images. You have the nerve to talk about character traits. You are a liar, and you have been proven and exposed as a liar. You was exposed on the show for being a lying, saying that Karen called Wendy a floozy. And then since you had got caught in your lie, you wanted to redirect energy to still try and throw Karen under the bus and say, she told us that she didn't want you on the show. I said that because she's basically told us she didn't want you on the show. How does that matter that you lied? Like, that, how does those two connect? You get, well, I just said that she said you was a floozy because she didn't want you on the show. Like, so, like, Giselle is just pathetic, okay? And then one of the things that I was looking at, and you can just tell just the jealousy that Monique brings out of them, is because when Monique came out, or when it was talking about things concerning Monique, Candace had dicks to say Candace and Giselle was pretty much don't want to look at her. They want to turn it. Those are signs of someone who has extreme jealousy that has, because I'll tell you this, when admiration that is mixed with toxicity and insecurity turns to jealousy and then envy to where you despise the other person. See, jealousy will have you like, oh, admiration is you are doing this or you are this way and I admire you about that. That's a wonderful, beautiful thing. Jealousy is you have these things and I don't. Now I'm looking at myself. I don't have those things and I want that. Envy is I don't care if I never even get it. I don't want you to have it. I need to tear it down from you having it. And to me, they have extreme envy towards her. They don't even want to look at this woman unless they are attacking her or tearing her down. Unless she is being like held accountable for something. Did y'all not notice that? That Candace and Candace and Giselle, when we talking about Monique's bird or we talking about her house or when we looking at her outfits and all that is, they don't even want to look. But when it's, she never threw a glass at you and you did this wrong, they all faced in, yeah, you done pure envy, pure hatred and jealousy. But, like, so Candace making little digs. They asking Monique about the bird, and that's Candace, yeah, that's because it didn't happen, and this and other. For this to be a woman who you so-called traumatized by, none of that will be coming out your mouth. And it just tripped me out how Candace is acting and flipping, right? Like her husband, right, called her bipolar with the flip of the switch. Even though I can't talk, y'all, because I'm kind of up and down, too. But anyway, when y'all sitting here having this reunion, you got digs, you got smart remarks, and this is that and the other. But then the minute that they bring it to you, now you're like, oh, it's time, it's scene time, action time. Oh, I'm just so traumatized, I can't even look at it. It's like, girl, oh, I see through that crap, and I hope that Andy and everybody else will too. Like, girl, get over yourself and cut it out. It's just like when you're going into acting mode, you're supposed to stay into character. So your whole demeanor and action through the reunion should have been the same. You should have stayed into character, not making digs and stuff like that, and then switch to crime. But it was also funny to me that the other ladies, they seem to me, they're in an alliance with Giselle. But it seemed like Robin, Wendy, and Candace actually enjoyed Giselle being red. They enjoyed her being exposed a bit, like things that they have thought and wanted to say, and they're glad, like, yeah, dig that to her, because they ain't got the courage to do it, or because of the alliance they feel it'll be against protocol. But Candace and Robin for a minute did try and go to bat for Giselle when Monique was reading her for Phil, giving her the dragon of her life. And it just had me think, like, this woman isn't even standing up for herself. She readily and willingly throws y'all under the bus, shades y'all, enjoys other shading y'all. Why are y'all trying to go to bat to this woman? Let her speak up and talk for her dang herself. She has so much mouth about any and everybody else. Let her have mouth for herself. But they then turn around and kind of enjoyed the reading, because I was peeping their body language and their